Fast forward, you come out watch on so now age politics avenue. Only a political source training because making headlines. Now, General need to be Akroma. Ewa need to be Mahama. Best talk say young Simo. Only a young Simo and Chief Justice Torkonoo. And I'm not say a special advice from one of the NDC communicators or check say, "Ma, maybe what drone dear? Yes, Utino maybe a sepa na Akuffo na utimi ede ekwadwa enough of the lawsuit. ECOWAS, Adechia High Court, Adechia petitions ahodo. Ye woman yana say, yeka say omuntimi hu say ebia say untua legal fee dia. Fair enough. But susu one pass say so utua legal fee pa dia enenga say ska no fakotene fie na afi fa entutu foforo bi. O kan se mo si o TV3 new day so na channel so mame say dent to your reputation say ohwe na utu mufo na lawyers na so omohwe na mo advice ni yi pa based on ni lawsuits ahodo a wode destabilize oman no titru His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
This whole issue with the Chief Justice is never going to end. She's come across as a proper litigant. So we should bottle up and actually wait for more suits to come. I'm rather surprised that she would even want to be part of the judiciary right now or the structure of the Supreme Court. Having read the judgments given by a particular suit that she brought, I think that that particular judgment made mention of the fact that whatever decision they were going to have to take before they dismissed, I'm not a lawyer, so it's
certainly, yes,
I'm just trying to put things, But I quite remember that I read something to the effect that that ruling was going to affect her being CJ and also a member of the Supreme Court. And that judgment threw whatever she brought out. You get me? So already from a suit that you brought from the beginning that they should throw this whole issue out.
Yeah.
You were made to understand that you're asking even for the case to be thrown out. There was no merit in it. And that whatever view that they had about you being a Chief Justice and at the same time a Supreme Court judge held to that position that you could not even function as both. And they felt that they were going to have to take that decision, even though it was painful and hurtful and everything, but they felt that doing justice to the people of Ghana, they had to take that decision. You had to lose that Supreme Court judge thing. Justice Torkonoo, I wish that somebody could tell her that you can't always have everything that you want. You want to come back as a Supreme Court judge. It's a demotion, virtually, because you are Chief Justice. You leave, and then you say, I want to come back. I can still serve as a justice. I don't understand it, because I'm looking at a situation
because you're the leader of the judiciary, and so that's why you're saying that she coming back as a justice.
Yes,
is a
then you were a leader of a whole structure, and then you decide that now I want to be a subordinate. It doesn't work well. It doesn't sound well. And I'm asking her, if it was her at the helm of affairs as Chief Justice, assuming, and then she, somebody else is brought in that way, would she ever bench that person? Would she ever take that person to sit on any case? You're tainted already. There's nothing that you're going to say that the Ghanaian populace would understand or believe. You understand? You've already tainted your reputation. So the best thing you could have done was to just go home. I think she's a wonderful lawyer. You understand? So she could have at least managed to just go, set up, and wait for posterity to judge you. Whether you were maltreated or you were not treated well or whatever it was, Ghanaians will begin to see. But then for you to always want to fight a whole system, and then continuously you're jumping. You have jumped from here. You've even taken it abroad. You've gone to ECOWAS. and you still don't get it.
But if you look at the writ she submitted and the suit, actually point 16 of her points or her grounds, she talked about she being advised by her counsel and believing that whatever her counsel is telling her is actually the truth. So do I hear you say that you think her lawyers are advising her wrongly?
Her lawyers are advising her wrongly. And whatever external friends she has are advising her wrongly. Those same people advised her, you know, to drag on, go to ECOWAS, go to the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, go to whatever association, and she still lost everything, and you are still believing in that lawyer? That lawyer is actually putting you to ridicule. Your lawyer is putting you to ridicule. There is no way you are going to come back, because from the statement that was issued, you have been removed as Chief Justice and as a judge of the Superior Courts. So that's it, go home.
So she should fire her lawyers?
You see, I think that right now, she doesn't need to fire them. They know themselves. Maybe she's not paying for any legal fees. Yes, maybe that's why. But you see, I'm looking at a situation where Justice Torkonoo herself should be able to sit and think through. She's a Christian. And I am very sure that she knows that sometimes you are taken from one controversy and then raised in another field. I am very sure that she knows that things of this nature. We have seen people being disgraced. We saw Kwame Nkrumah go into jail and come back as president. You understand? So I don't see why she's fighting.
Nelson Mandela in South Africa.
Exactly. So why can't she just take it in good faith? The position of Supreme Court judge is not something that you can do now, because you have gone to the highest, which is the CJ, the Chief Justice. And I think that Justice Torkonoo should take a break. As a woman to another woman, there's I think she's stressed, she's traumatized, and this whole fight affects you mentally. You understand? If you do not step back and take things in good faith, you will end up hurting your own self. You hurt your mental health, you hurt your physical self, and all that. And I don't think she needs that. I think what she's fighting for now, and something that she should have thought of, and something that she should have listened to people like us when we were saying, just resign and take your emoluments, take your retirement benefits. Don't do this. Now you've lost it all. She wants that back. So coming back as a Supreme Court judge, she still goes home with those benefits. And that's what she's fighting for. But it's too late. It's too late for you to come back and fight this. People advise you, just go. Go and negotiate your exit with the president of the day so that you can go home with your entitlements. You refused. You could fight.
And I'm coming to you very shortly, Mr. Bento, but let me ask you this very briefly before I go to Akuffo Bento, our lawyer and vice president of Imani Ghana. People feel that she still has her right. She's within her right to pursue this case to as far as she deems fit.
She can pursue this case until she's 70. It's allowed. Then she would naturally not be even available for CJ. But is that the right thing to do? At this moment in our lives that we are trying to reset a country, we are trying to redevelop our country or to develop our country, we are trying to get jobs. We need that peace of mind. We need that kind of tranquil atmosphere to be able to do these things. And not every day get up and it's all litigation with one person. It is her right. She can continue to do it. No one is stopping her. But I'm saying, to what end?
To what end?
To what
you
end?
Ask. Let me come to you.
Of the drafters of the Constitution to cut election petitions at the Court of Appeal. So, and the general principle is that where the Constitution intends to give a right, does not shy away from giving that right. And the Chief Justice knows that. The former Chief Justice knows that. And the lawyers advising her knows that. But let's come to that funny thing that they are talking about. They say that, oh, the removal is for the removal of the Chief Justice, and that she can go back and be a justice of the... And she has been advised on this by lawyers. And you know what ludicrous thing they were saying? They said, oh, if a deputy speaker of parliament is removed as deputy speaker, that deputy speaker does not lose his seat as a member of parliament. Well, we're not talking about a deputy speaker or a member of parliament. But they forget that a person can only become a deputy speaker of parliament if he's elected a member of parliament. So if he loses his position as a member of parliament, he loses that position as a deputy speaker. You don't need to go and say that we are attacking the deputy. You just attack him as a member of parliament. If he loses that, he goes. 2, Article 146 is not about the removal of the Chief Justice. Article 146 is about the removal of justices of the Superior Court of Judicature. And that's what his advisors or her advisors are not telling her. They quote Article 146 and say that, well, because Article 146 provides for 1466 provides for the removal of a Chief Justice. So you can't treat a Chief Justice as a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature. I say, wrong. What about Article 1461? The same about the Edibo Techi. The conditions that are stated in Article 1461 applies to justices of the Superior Court of Judicature, including the Chief Justice. So that in the Ajechum case, when Article 1466 did not contain the requirement of the establishment of a prima facie case, what did the judges say in court? They say because you must be a justice of the Superior Court of Judicature before you can become a Chief Justice. By necessary implication, an application or a petition for the removal of a Chief Justice must, by necessary implication, establish a prima facie case before a committee can be established. Why did they do so? Because if you don't do so, you violate Article 17 of the Constitution. You were treating people equally circumstanced differently. Because they are justices of the Superior Court of Judicature. Then again, you see. But and we are waiting to see what the court will say. But my position is clear on this matter. I don't believe and I don't think, by my reading of the Constitution, that the committee established under Article 1466 of the Constitution to inquire into the petition requiring or calling for the removal of the Chief Justice is subject to the review jurisdiction of the court. That the Chief Justice probably knows that. That is why he's going for a declaration that the president acted wrongly and not the committee. Because he's not asked for the release of the recommendation of the committee. Because if the committee recommends that she should be removed as a Chief Justice and as a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, the president will have to act on that. And the president acted on that. So clearly, the Chief Justice will fight, and she's fighting. She doesn't want to take her removal lying down. She's going to fight. But now we all know that this Chief Justice was probably incompetent in the first place to become our Chief Justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was straightforward. Mr. Friedman, let's hear from you.
I wish it didn't have to. You know, because this case, I don't feel comfortable with it at all. You know, there are two issues, or this issue has been, should I say, litigated or fought on purely legal, technical lines. Purely. That's what it appears. I was hearing also that one of the, should I say, cases she has against her removal is that it did not come under, it was not a judicial order, but it was like an executive order or something. I don't know. All this thing makes it even more confusing. For me, I am not going to look at the legal aspect of it. Here is the office of the position, the third highest office in the land. The occupant of that office has gone through a process which, from the look of things, from where I stand or where I'm sitting, appears to have gone through the processes as established by the Constitution. It appears there are various other interpretations to these processes, and as a result, the challenges are coming up. Now, this latest one, for me, if a Chief Justice is being removed, and I take it that the assumptions that the removal has been accepted, hence this claim, or I'm wrong. If that removal has been accepted, whether happily or unhappily, but it has been accepted or respected, I don't see how, if it was me, comfortable one would feel saying, okay, you remove me as the Chief Justice, but let me come and still serve there under another Chief Justice. I don't see how that works. Because you see, there are positions that we hold. People resign on principle. People, resign under various circumstances to uphold a certain level of personal integrity or just to make state a position. You see, I find this as one of them. That if one holds a position of Chief Justice and one has been removed, and that removal also says that one has been removed also as a Supreme Court judge, I find it difficult to accommodate a call to want to now fight to come back. Because at the end of the day, who are those you're going to work with? And especially looking at the way this case has traveled, questioning whether it was the competence or the need for certain persons to be on certain... I think this thing has gone a bit too far. Because at the end of the day, if one fights for a position and one gets that position, one should be able to feel comfortable that they can exercise that office and exercise it comfortably. But how could you exercise that office when you have actually been fighting with everybody else in that position, or all your other colleagues, as it were? So for me, this discussion is something I find a bit too difficult because of my own personal issues with, not issues, but relationship. So all I want to say is that from the way it appears, I would have thought that once a pronouncement had been made by His Excellency the President, there would have been a move on. But it appears that is not the case. And the former Chief Justice is exercising her rights as a citizen to appeal the case, and that is what she's doing. So I think she's at liberty to do that.
All right, thank you. Let me do a few messages before I come to Comrade Pratt. I'll go to WhatsApp. This one here says that, good morning, Bless. If the MPP and the former Chief Justice think they can bring Mahama's government down with this series of unnecessary petitions, God will expose them one by one. By the way, what secret covenant did the MPP and the former Chief Justice come to agreement with that they will not let go after her dismissal? It is getting embarrassing. Madam Torkonoo, enough is enough. Sami Nadenta sent this one. Thank you, Sami, for your message. This one here says that my name is Edem from Bawumia. This Israel genocide on Palestinians in Gaza is going on, and while the whole international world is demanding the stop of this genocide.
We and some of the team course so our channel so aha AGH Politics Avenue podcast stories e mo hwam ni bi eksomo eni di ma best say eni na wuhia me a subscribe to the channel e mami hit the notification bell no so na afi no wa share na afoforo so ensa atumi akambi nyamehwa onye okase se oji emre e wa ha dasa ne so bade no e de mre ene adumbi edum yane ye besan ehia e wa ha.